Guys, I want to thank GoHunt.com Insider for being the title sponsor of this podcast. And I wanted to let you know that when you sign up for the Insider, you can get a $50 KUIU gift card. All you have to do to get the KUIU gift certificate is go to www.gohunt.com/insider, click on the blue Join Now button, and use the promo code JScott at checkout, and they will send you electronically a gift card, $50 to use at KUIU. I wanted to give you guys a chance to hear Dave Loescher, the head of the Go Hunt Insider, as he's talking about the state profile section of the Go Hunt Insider. Let's hear from Dave now.
Our state profiles have all the information you're going to need to have a better understanding of the costs and the species and all the important dates that are associated with that state as you apply in the West. And within this state profile in the upper right-hand corner, you can expand the map right here. And once you expand that map, you can see all the different boundary lines, and you can hover right over those units. And by clicking it, you'll go straight to that unit profile, which we already talked about. And then you can click that same button and go right back to that state profile. And then you're going to show the species icon, so you can see every big game species that's offered within that state. And as you go down, we're going to show all the valuable information, the license cost, the tag cost within that state on a resident and non-resident basis, as well as the important dates, the draw schedules, the draw deadlines, when are results going to be available, when can you possibly, amend your application or make corrections if that's offered within that state. And then, quick rules, talking about the minimum age to hunt, hunter orange required. You have to wear hunter orange in the field. Also within the state profile, we talk about if there is a landowner tag system that's in place. And then we also give you the information about the tag lottery and exactly how the draw system works. Do they accept credit cards? Can you withdraw your application? Party applications, how many hunters can be on that? Good information that you really need to know. Again, it's a quick reference to improve your odds, to increase your odds. You're going to have to be applying in all the different states, and this is a great resource for you, the user, to be able to gain an understanding of each state and get the information you need.
Guys, I want to tell you about one of the sponsors of this podcast. DeadeyeOutfitters.com is a lifestyle hunting apparel company for hunters, by hunters. Check out episode 45 of this podcast with one of the owners and you'll see what I mean. Deadeye Outfitters makes quality t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats designed with hunters in mind. Deadeye Outfitters has the only license for creating Boone & Crockett apparel. Use the JScott promo code and receive a 10% discount on all purchases at DeadeyeOutfitters.com. Welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. Today we've got a friend of mine, Brady Miller, who is the digital content manager at GoHunt.com, and I was fortunate to meet Brady, and he won the KUIU hunt. They did a giveaway, not actually a giveaway. He won the hunt due to his awesome photography skills, and came down to Mexico and shot a big Coues deer. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Brady, how are you doing?
Good, Jay. Good to be on. It's been
yeah, I'm excited to have you on, buddy. You probably spend more time in a backpack or have spent more time in a backpack than anybody I know. I know you're originally from Minnesota, is that correct? And then you went to Montana, and then now you're in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I moved to Montana, I guess mainly to hunt, but also wildlife biology degree. And yeah, it's been a big change.
I know that in Montana you were doing a lot with fisheries, correct?
Yeah, I was a fisheries research biologist for United States Geological Survey for about 6 years, and very fortunate to basically backpack the entire time I worked, from basically March until November. So I got to test out a lot of my backpacking gear and get everything ready for the hunting season. By hunting season, I was in pretty good hiking shape, so it worked out really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how much of that time that you worked there for 6 years, I mean, on an estimate, what would you say, how many days were you in the backcountry with the backpack on out there?
Oh, pretty much, easily 5 days a week. So whatever that equals, it was more than 70% of the time we were on a backpack, like overnight trips. We did a lot of day trips too, but most of our trips were 4 to 8 days. We kind of had a pretty cool schedule, 9 days on, 6 days off, which then come hunting season worked out great. Had a lot of, good opportunities to get after it with the bow.
Awesome. Now, Brady, I know you well, and I know that you love hunting, but your primary focus is a bow hunter. Tell me a little bit how that evolved.
Kind of always when I was in Minnesota, just took interest in archery, and then kind of had longer season dates. When I was in high school, I basically was the type of kid who I'd duck hunt in the morning before school, and after school I'd just basically go head to the tree stand and bow hunt, and I did that for starting at 12 when I could bow hunt, and took my first deer when I was 14 with my bow, just a little 3x2 whitetail, and that kind of bit the bug, and I always dreamt of coming out west. And finally, after high school, I had the chance to move to Montana, and Montana's like the door of opportunity for over-the-counter tags. So it was just long season dates, and then I just love the technical aspect of bow hunting. I just love tuning gear and tweaking arrows and anything that I can do to make myself better. And I just always took to that rather than rifle. I don't know, just because getting close and I don't know, get to be there when no one else is out there, I guess.
Absolutely. And, it was great having you down in Mexico. Tell me a little bit about that hunt that you won through Cuyu, and walk me even through the hunt and how all of that transpired, because it's a pretty neat story.
Yeah, so that was just randomly, I submitted a photo to Cuyu for their photo album, and then later on they talked about those photos that were submitted. They were going to select 12 of them to go towards a chance to win that hunt in Mexico for Coues deer. And randomly mine got selected, so it ran in a hunting magazine as an ad for Cuyu. And then later on, towards October, they put all 12 of our photos to a vote. And I was actually in the backcountry when that was going on, so I was kind of freaking out. Like, it was only, I think, a week period where people could vote for it, and they voted through Facebook. And the photo was a photo I took of my 2013 Montana mule deer buck. And so basically I was out in the backcountry trying to hike up to a higher peak to get cell phone service, trying to call my friends, hey, voting's open, start voting. And finally I got out of the backcountry and just kind of took to it and tried to contact everyone I know to vote and tried to share it a bunch on social media, try to work all that kind of avenue. And basically midnight finally came on the close. I ended up winning it, and, never thought you'd win a hunt like that, especially a hunt for Coues deer. Never hunted Coues deer before. I went down with you, and just the opportunity to do it and hunt with Jason and meet him was kind of like a, dream of a lifetime, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I remember what I remember about that hunt was that the week that you guys came, it was a little bit early. The bucks weren't really rutting that well. It was cool in the mornings, but it warmed up. It seemed like we had decent weather, but definitely not great deer movement. But I know you and Hunter chased a few bucks and some javelina around, and then I want to say it was the second or third morning or something. You thought maybe sitting water would be a good plan, and darn, I thought that would be a good plan as well. Kind of talk about your first Coues deer experience, getting to see them, maybe what you thought, what things were different or the same as what you were expecting.
Yeah, I just loved how I lived in northwest Montana, so glassing really wasn't an option, but I was always, into optics and into glassing. That's why I always hunted in eastern Montana, was more open. So Coues deer were just like a whole, this awesome experience where I could sit there with big giant spotting scopes and, big eyes and pick apart the terrain. And I just really loved how cagey they kind of are. They're just like, you see them and then you don't see them, and they're so small, and it's like you got to pick them out, and it's just something I've never been a part of, but I can easily see why people get addicted to it. Because once you finally do see one, it's like, it's an eye opener. And it was the fun part about the hunt, or I don't know about fun part, it was super challenging, because that first day, I think you remember, I almost broke my bow. I snapped that, had a big crack in the limb, and that's when Hunter and I kind of took off after the javelinas. And long story short, I thought I was going to splinter my bow in half when I drew it back, and put sunglasses on and, taped the limb up with electrical tape as much as I could, and had to resight my bow in. And the Mexicans actually, they had a bunch of hay bales sitting back at their ranch, and I tried to resight my bow in on hay bales, and I stacked a bunch of hay bales next to each other, but my bow setup's kind of souped up, I guess, and it went through all three hay bales and hit some big metal sign in the back of their shed. So that was kind of out of the question. They weren't really happy about that. So randomly, I found a bunch of dried up.
Hey, Brady, a Mexican prison is not a very good option.
Yeah. Especially that time you were pretty sketchy across that border. But yeah, so I finally drove around and thought, what can I do here? I don't want to burn a bunch of arrows. I didn't bring a ton of arrows down, and didn't want to shoot them in a bunch of rocks. So I found an area where a bunch of cattle were hanging out, and I grabbed some, I think it was like 2 or 3 cow patties, all dried up, and stacked those end to end, and basically used that as a target and resighted my bow in, got everything going, and the limb was fine. And it's kind of how my wild coos deer hunt started, just kind of a heartbreak roller coaster ride. Didn't think, everyone kept making fun of me bringing a bow to a gunfight. And I was looking at it out the whole time. Tried spot and stock, and all I really did was get a bunch of stickers on my feet because I, just had my wool socks. Wasn't really used to hunting in that desert terrain like you guys got down there, and it was an experience. Spot and stock is challenging.
For sure. And so when I think Dar took you up to that tank, Dar and I spent about 15 minutes arguing, which is very common for us, on which water hole you should go sit, and we each had our own ideas. And so tell me about when you approached the water hole, you set up the blind, what your thoughts were, how it looked, did you think it was going to work? Tell me how it all transpired.
Yeah, I think that the name of the spot was pretty cool. I thought it was, what are you guys calling it, lion tank? You had a trail cam pic of a lion a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And so it was a really cool spot. It was actually a little narrow basin. It was kind of pretty tight with a high mountain on the right where I set the blind. I was looking into the high mountain, and it looked like, tons of good bedding habitat, and right behind was the same thing. So it's kind of like a pocket of this big, 30, 40-yard wide pond. And, I didn't see a lot of tracks besides for cattle tracks. And I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, this is the third day. I'm probably going to sit here every single day for the next, 5 days, and maybe see, 5, 6 coos deer, maybe see a decent buck come in, maybe come in the wrong side of the water hole. But I was willing to try it because spot and stock wasn't working. So I hadn't even sat there. I think it was an hour and a half when I had the first coos deer come in. It was a small buck, and it kind of milled around the mountain for a while. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it never wanted to come to the water and got spooked off. And I think later on it might have got spooked off by this giant buck, because when this thing came in, I think I remember telling you guys, all I remember seeing was the giant G2s coming in. It's just, I caught out of the corner of my eye, and it went beeline right to the water. Didn't I've always heard coos deer are pretty hesitant coming to water. They're going to be cautious. This thing just went right to it, stayed right on the water's edge, started drinking, and, perfect opportunity. It was 32 yards away. I was able to set my sight and come to full draw, and the deer barely ran across the pond and tipped over on their side of the dike and ended up rolling down into the water. It's just, something I never thought would happen, especially that fast. I've only been sitting there for an hour and a half, and here I have this, what I thought was an average coos deer laying on the ground.
Yeah, it was, the way I remember that was around 10 or 11, and maybe you shot him around 12 or 1 or something. And
yep, exactly.
I didn't hear from you. I believe we had given you a radio to put in your pack just in case you needed help figuring out how to get back to the ranch house. And later that night it was dark, and I remember coming off the mountain and just trying to call and see where everybody was at. And I remember you saying, "Hey Jay, it's Brady. I don't know where the other guys are, but I'm here," and saying, "Hey, Brady, how'd you do?" And you're like, "I shot a buck, and it looks big." And I remember you telling me, Jay, it's got 12-inch G2s or 11-inch G2s, and I was like, "What?" And then I'm like, "Brady, the G2s are the main points in the back, right? Not the eyeguards." You're like, "Yeah, I know what G2s are, Jay. They're 11.5 inches."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
11.5 and bladed.
Yeah, and then you're like, "And they're bladed," and I'm like, "What?" And you're like, "Yeah, I think it's a big buck." I go, "Brady, it sounds like a giant."
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, I think you went through each time there on the radio as you were driving back in the dark. And you had a rough score up there. I think, I was blown away. I know you guys were.
Yeah, so we were, jamming the gas down. It was, I think, me, Jason, and Nate Simmons, and I just wanted to see this buck. And then when I saw it, it was just an awesome sight. And You ended up getting that buck scored by Pope and Young, and I believe you won an award for it, did you not?
Yeah, I ended up getting it officially scored 110 and 1/8 net, and grossed 118 and 2/8, and I ended up getting the the second award for the recording period, so second largest buck during the last two years, and from what we can tell right now, it should still be number 17 in the world with a bow.
That's fantastic. That's a beautiful buck. For the listeners out there, you have to go on Brady's Instagram page and check it out. There's a bunch of pictures of it, and you can go on our website, Colburn and Scott Outfitters. There's a bunch of pictures of that. Well, Brady, that was a heck of a hunt. It was sure really nice to meet you down there. And then after that hunt, it wasn't a whole lot longer, and then you started working for GoHunt.com. Tell me a little bit about that transition there.
Yeah, it was a big surprise to me. I got a random Facebook message from Lorenzo, who's the president of Go Hunt, and he was just like, "Hey, I got this business idea coming around. Wonder if you're interested in jumping on the phone." And I don't get a lot of Facebook messages, but I always thought like, "Hey, this is probably some spam thing. I don't know what this is." And I started looking at it. I was like, "Oh, I've been friends with Lorenzo for a while," and started looking at stuff, and I was like, "Wow, yeah, I gotta give this guy a call." So I got him a call, and they kind of briefed me on what Go Hunt was going to be all about, because this is like in the beginning stages. And randomly I said, "Yeah, I'm kind of interested." Like, "Okay, let's fly you down." They flew me down. I started checking it out. They started showing me what Insider was going to be all about and kind of what they had in the works. And to be honest, my jaw kind of hit the floor, and I was blown away. I was like, "Wow, this is going to be something cool." And to be offered to be a part of this, I have to do it. I mean, it's a startup. There's obviously a risk in me leaving my job and moving, especially from Montana to Nevada. I never thought in a million years you'd catch me living in Las Vegas.
I remember I got a text from you. I forget what it was about, but you're like, "I'm on my way to Nevada," and I said, "What for?" And you said, "I'm moving."
I think they called me in. The interview was like in February, and then in end of March, I was already moving down there. I already put my 2 weeks notice in, and started making a long drive to Nevada, and now just living in the 105-degree heat every day.
That's right. It's a dry heat, though, right?
Yeah. You're kind of used to it, I guess.
Brady, tell me what it's like to work for GoHunt.com, and not only that, but tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so my day-to-day, I'm the digital content manager, so I deal with all of our writers for our front of the paywall content. We have a good selection of writers, and I green light articles for them. They send them back to me. I send them off to the editor. I go through all the editing, accept changes. I build all the articles you see on the website. I build all those, and I also run all of our social media pages for Go Hunt. So it keeps me actually really busy. It's really enjoyable to talk to hunters all the time. Read all their stories and communicate on what kind of groundbreaking content we want to release that users will be engaged with and learn something from. So it's kind of my day to day, and it's an amazing company to work for. I mean, we have a great group of guys and gals, and it's a good mix of hunters and at one point it was like non-hunters, and now they're all into hunting. So it's been a blast to work with people who have like big tech backgrounds and setting up all this stuff, and diving into our whole insider portion. It's really fun to see it turn around from when I started to what it is now. It's a pretty cool process, and it's been really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it's an awesome site, and it's been a pleasure having GoHunt.com Insider be a sponsor of this podcast. Brady, I know you've been scouting your brains out. You drew a tag in Nevada for Archery Mule Deer, and I know you've been trying to, what a lot of my listeners do is, work and scout at the same time. Tell me a little bit about your schedule scouting for this mule deer hunt.
Yeah, so I think right now I've already put 4 weekends on the mountain scouting for this deer. And my schedule's kind of crazy because of how far I live from the unit. The unit's in northern Nevada. And, it's an archery draw tag, and just every chance I get, I want to be up there. And it's one of those things where I don't really want to take off work because I want to, wait till fall and take off more of my time. So scouting, I normally work a full day on a Friday, sometimes bounce out around 3, but then I have a roughly 6 to 7 hour drive just to get to the trailhead basically. And so normally I don't get there till sometimes 10 till 3 in the morning. Just depends on how fast I can get out of there. And so I really have grown since I live in Nevada now, it's hot and dry and I'm not used to that. I'm used to rain in Montana. So I've come to love hiking in the dark. That's kind of what I do right now. I just try to get to the trailhead in the dark and try to get most of the miles pounded out before the sun rises. That's kind of always my goal on Friday, is to, be at least maybe my backup glassing spot by sunup, so I can just glass it really quick and kind of see the area where I'm going to go into, and then I push it up the rest of the way. And it's kind of a brutal scouting or a hiking part too. It's 10 plus miles just to get to where I start scouting, and then from there I work a couple basins.
How much vertical feet are we talking in a 10-mile stretch?
I think it's just at 4,500, roughly 4.5, 5.
Wow. So you're really cranking it up. So you're leaving in the dark. You're going with the flash headlamp. What's your rattlesnake count?
Yeah, luckily I don't know if I should tell my girlfriend this. I've seen a few rattlesnakes down in the lower country, but I've been pretty fortunate so far. Let's just put it that way, knock on wood. But yeah, that's another reason why I like hiking in the dark too. I don't really see anyone. There's no one up there. I can just plow through. I don't waste my water. I'm not sweating a bunch. It's basically I've tried hiking in the dark before or the daylight, and I just get worked by the sun. And I'm still a guy that's not used to it. Just being 6'5" and being close to the sun is kind of a downfall.
Yeah, and you're fair skinned. Although I have to say, I've seen the pictures of the beard lately, and that thing it's got a mind of its own.
Yeah. I guess I got the mountain man look going on. Everyone at the office is complimenting me on the beard looks. I'm trying to keep it for the next video. I think the last video was a little too clean cut, and trying to switch it up a little bit. Maybe people won't recognize me when I'm up there. And
I remember watching the video of your last hunt. I believe it was last year, and it was a fantastic video. Are you going to be videoing this hunt? And what was the name of the video from before?
Yeah, the video last year we did was Elements. It was same sort of hunt. It was a high country mule deer hunt with my bow, and basically it was called Elements because we faced everything possible that we weren't expecting. I mean, I'm expecting, sun every single day, and forecast, was calling for a little bit of rainstorms, but we got nailed every single day with rain. I had sunscreen up there, never used my sunscreen. I barely brought any. I was contemplating not bringing a down jacket because we're like, oh, it's August and it's not going to be that cold, but I don't think it really warmed up past 45, 50 degrees, and it was cloudy every single day, so you never got that sun to warm your body up. And so we just battled it out and ended up taking the buck I scouted all summer last year on the 5th day of the hunt, and so just capitalized it perfectly. And
it was a beautiful stock and a beautiful shot, and the whole hunt, the buck was awesome. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to talk about gear here in just a minute, but first and foremost, so your hunt starts here in a few days, and you've been scouting. Do you have a particular buck that you want to shoot, or do you have a handful of bucks, or how's it looking out there?
Yeah, I actually have one particular buck in mind already. I've been watching him majority of the summer. I finally found the one I want to go for. He's gonna be a nice buck. Let's just put it that way. He's bigger than the buck I shot last year, and yeah, I'm super super stoked to get out there after him. I mean, I have 20-25 minutes of footage of him already from the ditch scoping setup, and lots of stills of him and a couple other bucks. And
tell me about him. What's his frame? What's he look like?
He's got a mainframe 4x4, and he has a tripod off his G3. So he's got a bunch of mass on the one side, and he's gonna break that high 185 mark. It's really surprising, actually. I've been not trying to score him too high, but I've had Dave Lozier in the office look at him a bunch, and Lorenzo's kind of helped me score him up a little bit from all the footage. And yeah, he's a phenomenal public land deer.
That's awesome.
Couldn't be happy
Brady.
to him.
Yeah, Brady, is he in an area that you tell me kind of your strategy and where has he been hanging? Is he a habitual buck that's kind of been in the same spot? have you seen them every time you're up there? Kind of give me the play-by-play of how you think it's going to go down and where you think you're going to get your chance at them.
Yeah, so I found them in kind of a remote basin this year. I, checked out this new area and also looked at some of my old spots I was in last year. And this buck, for whatever reason, he kind of hangs out on the higher part of this area, and it seems like he's in the same spot every single day. He has everything he needs there. It's kind of a closed-off canyon with a big head wall, so he won't go out and up. The only way he can go is really down the mountain. And him and I think it's 3 or 4 other bucks are kind of in that same zone all the time. One weekend I did not find him, but for the most part he's always there. And it's going to be a tough hunt because this last year I had Dave with to help me on the hunt, and this year I'm going fully solo, so it's going to be no one to help on the stock situation. And I think it's if I can find him and I just wait him out enough and no one else wrecks the hunt and figures out where I'm going, it should be pretty doable. He beds in pretty much the same spot in the midday, and a couple of times he beds in a spot that's way too impossible to put stock on. But for the most part, it's open, bunch of rocks I can get in behind him, and where I figured I should be able to get at least a 45, 50-yard shot on him if he keeps doing the same thing he's been doing.
Is your plan to glass him up, bed him down, and move in and then wait for him to stand to feed, or what is your game plan?
I'm actually the type of guy who loves to shoot him right in the bed. Like, I'll shoot him bedded down. I'd love to do that. So I'm easily going to, get to the same glassing spot, and hopefully I'll find him right away. And then I like to wait. I'm a guy who's really patient. I don't like to rush things. So last year I kind of gave up a couple days and just kind of sat on the bucks. We were the only ones there. And waited. I'm hoping that this area I can do the same thing and kind of give the buck time to bed where he needs to go, because I'm not really in any rush. I'm going to be up there total of 10 days. I think I'll be hunting for 7, so I have plenty of time, and just wait for it to work. And I'm going to try to stalk him from above and come down on him and put my little Vibram toe fingers or whatever they're called on, and creep in on him and try to get it done.
Awesome. I can't wait to see. You're an awesome photographer, so I can't wait to see all of the different content that you come back with, and hopefully you come back with that buck. I want to talk gear with you, Brady. I think our listeners love hearing about gear, and you are certainly someone that has the credibility to talk about gear because of the amount of time that you use it. I want to start out by just go through your gear list of this 10-day hunt and everything that you're going to be using.
Yeah, so I'm big on, merino wool. So I'll start it off there. I have, merino wool from the socks to the boxers to all my base layers. I run all Kuiu. I have all their new Ultra merino layers. I'm just going to take this year, I think, just a merino base layer and then a little their new Peloton and a down jacket. I'm just going to try to rock 3 layers, and I also have a rain jacket I'm going to take too. I'm going to take the Chugach up there.
Are you going to take the super down, or are you going to take the
Kenai?
The Kenai, sorry.
Yeah, I've been rocking the super down for a long time, and it's kind of grown on me, and had a lot of good luck with it. I love the Kenai. It's super comfortable, but for just the weight purposes, I'm just going to take the super down up there. And actually, majority of my gear is actually stashed up on the mountain right now, so I'm going to have a little lighter pack in. I kind of have been storing gear throughout the summer in a few various spots to kind of help out. So
awesome. So what kind of boots are you wearing?
Actually, I'm a shoe guy, so I'm a Salomon Speedcross 3. I just love lightweight shoes, and I run my shoes with the Gator, so I have a Gator over the pants, and I run Tiburon pants, and I'll just have that, my Tiburon pants, and then, like I said, a couple merino base layers and the Peloton, and that kind of rounds out that. I mean, last year I probably could use a little bit more. I might take some merino wool leggings up there, but
what's the forecast?
Forecast right now is 85 and 90 every single day in the valley, so it's going to be a cooker. I'm not going to really take anything extra that I don't need.
How does that temperature help or hurt you?
I think right now the bucks they've been kind of hard to find because they bed in the tall willows all day long. And for the while, that's why I was like, man, I'm glassing these bases that have to hold deer, and I just couldn't find them. And finally, I found there's a cooler weekend, and then the bucks were just popping out everywhere. So I think that the heat might hurt me a little bit on this, because since these bucks tend to, they're only up a little bit in the morning. They're bedding down the thick stuff. I won't be able to get on them, and that's also going to hurt my stalking situation too. If it is hot as they say it is, and they do bed in the wrong spot, it is going to be a big waiting game, which I'm just going to have to wait it out being by myself. But
okay, what socks are you going to wear?
I have the new Kuiu socks. Can't remember what the name is, but yeah, I have 2 pairs of those. I'll take up there.
Okay, what about water?
A water?
Yeah, what are you going to do for that?
I have a bunch of those MSR. I think they're called dromedary bags. They're like a 6 liter. I think I have a 6 liter and a 4 liter. I have like the light version. I think they're the red colored ones. And I have 3 of those. So right now my plan is to get all the way up there, get all my gear in, find the buck on hopefully right away Saturday morning. So I'm going to leave tomorrow night. And then Saturday midday, I'm just going to haul water all day. That's kind of my plan. I'm planning on, 8, I think I'll have 20 gallons of water at camp. That's kind of my goal. So I just want to get a bunch of water in there on Saturday and Sunday, hauled up to my camp, so I don't have to like drop down, because it's a long way to water. It's not an easy thing. I think it's 1,500 feet of elevation loss I have to do to go get water. I have to side hill a bunch and go around some boulder fields just to get to the little spring on the side of the mountain.
Unbelievable. Brady, what tent are you taking?
I actually have a new tent setup I'm kind of going to be trying out this weekend. It's a Paratarp.
Okay.
And it's a super lightweight, one person tent and trekking poles, and so I think it weighs, just over a pound, I think it is. It's pretty lightweight. Normally I've been running an MSR Hubba 1-person tent, and I use titanium everything, so I have titanium stakes, and just try to stay as light as I can. And I run the Thermarest Neo Air. I think it's their X Light.
Okay.
And then for a sleeping bag, I've been a big fan of Down for a long time, and I have a Feathered Friends 30-degree bag. I figured I've run 30-degree bags all the time. When I worked in Glacier National Park, it was really cold when I was a fisheries biologist, and for whatever reason, 30 degrees always worked for me all the way through October, November. I always figure I have, a down jacket with me. I have a down pants. It's like I don't need, a 20 or 0-degree bag in these situations. So I just try to stay light, like, carrying a 30-degree bag.
Awesome. If it rains on you, are you going to try and trap water, or is that not an option?
I thought
like off your tent or anything like that.
Yeah, I thought about it this year. I'm going to be taking up a little extra sort of lightweight tarp, sil nylon tarp, but I don't know if I'll go for it. I think I can get enough water with those bags, but I mean, that's always a good option. Last year I had a few snow fields I used to melt water, and this year, because it's lack of snowpack in the west, and there's no snow fields, so that's why it's making it a little challenging. I hope that's what keeps more people away from some of these higher country spots, because it's kind of scary without the water situation.
Sure. Is there anything else up there other than mule deer? I mean, are you seeing bears? Are you seeing elk? Are you seeing anything else?
When I've actually glassed some of the really lower country, I do run across a few bull elk every now and then. And, I've seen one really big mountain goat, which is kind of a bummer because, not many people are ever going to be able to hunt mountain goat in this area. And I've kind of ran into a problem of domestic sheep up there. For whatever reason, it seems like the last couple of weeks there's been sheep herders pushing sheep across the mountain range, and there's bighorn sheep in this mountain range, and that's kind of a huge problem that it doesn't really sit well with me that there can be 500 domestic sheep up there, especially when I'm also when I'm bow hunting, but for just the pneumonia aspect of transmitting diseases, and so
absolutely, that's not good.
Hopefully they won't be in the same area because they make noise all night and kind of scare things around, but
yeah. Talk to me about food.
Food. I'm kind of I think I don't eat enough when I'm up there. I try to stay, high calories. I'm a Mountain House guy for dinner. I will pound a lot of Mountain Houses. I usually do the Pro Packs. They're those smaller vacuum sealed single serving ones. So that's always my dinner. Breakfast, I used to be an oatmeal guy, but lately because of the Nevada water situation, I just don't want to waste my drinking water on oatmeal in the morning and having to, make something extra, because I love my coffee, so I have to have coffee in the morning. So I'll sacrifice water for that. But right now I just do I do Pro Bar meal replacements. They usually have, I think, 350, 400 calories just in the morning. It's quick and easy. They're, not the lightest thing, but packed full of energy. So I like to do that for breakfast, and I'm a big, protein bar, midday snack. And then for lunch, I'm kind of a junkie for flour tortillas and 2 things of peanut butter, the little squeeze containers of peanut butter. So it's, I'm probably not eating what I should be, but it's super light and it's really filling. I try to do a lot of high protein, a lot of fats. I'm big on also taking a bunch of Hammer Nutrition, GU, those type of energy supplements as well.
So how heavy do you think your pack will be coming out with the deer, with the rack, everything? Are you going to try and pull it all out in one, or are you going to make several trips?
I'm the type of guy who likes to do it in one.
Just throw it and go.
Yeah, I usually try to throw it and go. I mean, that's the problem. It's so far back in there, and it's like if I leave anything, there's no snow, so I'm kind of worried about meat spoilage. I can't set it near a snowfield. There's really no constant springs or like a stream on the mountain to put the meat by to cool. I run out all the way to my truck and try to run all the way back in. So it's gonna be 100+ pound pack easily. And
what pack are you rolling?
Normally I've been running the Kuiu, the Ultra 6000, but this year I picked up a Exo Mountain. I think it's their 5500 pack just to kind of test it out and see what I like about that. So I've been enjoying it this year. It's been it definitely hauls weight. And it's going to be interesting to see how it can haul meat, because that's always the biggest part. But it still has a good meat shelf in it, and try to get 10 days worth of food in there. But like I said earlier, the nice part is I've been stashing gear on the mountain, so I don't have a giant pack in. Which, I mean, maybe I'll overpack a little bit, but I'm pretty dialed in my pack system, so it should be all right.
So the first 2 days of the hunt, Saturday the hunt starts. You're actually going to pack water Saturday and Sunday, even if you see the buck.
Yeah, even if I see the buck, yeah, I'm just going to. I'll put him into bed right away Saturday morning when I get up there, and I hope to just lock him down there. I might stick around till like 10:30, 11, see if he gets up and makes a secondary bed, because it seems like this last year, a bunch of the bucks were making secondary beds, so it would have been gotta make sure of that. And then once I find him, I'm just going to leave him right there, move my optics back down off the ridge, and I'm going to get an empty pack and start packing water. I just really want to be. I want to be fresh and ready once Monday comes. That's the opener, the 10th.
Oh, Monday is the opener. Okay.
Yeah. I just don't. I mean, when I put stocks on these bucks, if I fail a stock, I could get water because the deer are kind of hanging around near some springs. But I just want to have lots of water at camp, because I mean, I go through at least 2.5, 3 liters of water a day, even if I'm not moving around. I just have to have water, and if I'm making these long things, it's just safety reason. I'm by myself this year. I'm solo, so I just figure I should suck it up and sweat a little bit on Saturday and part of Sunday and just, get my camp situated, because I'm hoping to be there the whole week.
Yeah, I thought the season started on Saturday, so I was going to, ask you why you were going to be getting water. And so it makes total sense that the season starts on Monday.
Yeah.
You're going to take time to get camp all ready. You're going to try and keep your eye on the buck, but then be able to get after him with a full camp with 20 gallons of water. You said 20 gallons?
Yeah, 20 liters of water, yep.
20 liters. So that'll be awesome. Tell me what bow you're shooting, what arrows you're shooting, what grain arrows, broadhead, etc.
Yeah, so I just recently, it's another thing, I've been kind of staying up really late at night trying to set up a new bow here. I just picked up a Hoyt Nitrum 34 long draw. So I'm shooting that bow this year. I've been shooting a different brand last couple years, and shooting 80-pound limbs. I think right now it's set at 78.8 pounds, shooting a 440 grain Black Eagle X Impact. It's a 250 spine arrow, 0.001 straightness. I'm kind of a geek on archery, so I like to totally customize my setup. I shoot a single pin movable sight. I just don't like clutter. I haven't been able to get used to multi-pins. I mean, I shot multi-pins way back in the day when I lived in Minnesota, and once I moved to Montana and started hunting out west, a single pin bug kind of hit me. It takes a little bit more time to set up for a shot, but I figure most of the time bucks are 50 60 yards away, have a little bit of time. I always think you have more time than what you think to set your sight. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I can't adjust it in a heated situation, but I think single pin's the way to go. Less clutter, easier to deal with, and so I have that.
Awesome.
I think my whole bow, I have a drop away rest. I run it off the bottom limb. I have front and back stabilizers. I'm kind of like I guess you could say a target bow hunter. I take all like the super technical stuff I find from target archers, like, Levi Morgan and Chance Bobeth, all those like famous target guys. I take anything they're doing, obviously will work for hunting, except, they might fine tune a little way. It might be a little fragile. I just try to find what will work for me in bow hunting to gain me the most accuracy and also the most forgiveness when I'm out there. So I'm a big fan of back weight on bows. I have 16 ounces of sidebar weight, and I have 2 ounces of front weight. So it kind of, balances my full bow out at full draw. I never balance my bow sitting there static. I feel like at full draw with the, your sights on the right side, your rest on the right side, you have a big 5-arrow quiver on the right side, your bow starts to tilt to the right. And in the mountains, I don't really want to mess with that. That's why I balance all my stuff at full draw to get the best feel. I always tune for that. That's kind of what I've been frantically trying to do this last week and a half, is set this new bow up and try to get adjusted to it really quick and get all my weights on there and get everything dialed.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like you're going to have a heck of a time, a great adventure, and we're going to be excited to see how you do. It's been awesome talking to you. I know you got to get going. You're leaving tomorrow for the backcountry, so I'm going to let you go. But I want to tell you it's been great listening to you talk about your preparation for the hunt. And I knowing you, I know how detail-oriented you are and how into being a student of the game that you are, and that's one of the things that I admire about you. And just looking forward to seeing how you do, and I know you'll take great pictures, and I can't wait to see how the adventure unfolds. And so we'll hear from you when you get out of the mountains, and I just appreciate you being on here, and I'm just love seeing all the stuff. You did an incredible article on Google Earth. That really helped me. Another podcast, I want to talk to you about Google Earth and all the stuff you use for scouting.
Yeah, definitely.
But that'll come on another episode. But go get them, and we'll be cheering for you. All right, buddy?
Yeah, appreciate it. It's about time all those long 3-4 in the morning drives back to work on Mondays are going to kind of pay off. So I'm excited.
That schedule you've been keeping, it's going to be great reward when you get that buck. And if you don't get him, I'm sure there's another one out there that you can get. And so go get him, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds, okay?
Hey, thanks, Jake. Keep up the great work. Appreciate having me on. It's been fun.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Well, that was a great episode with Brady Miller of GoHunt.com, and I'm excited to see how his hunt shakes out in Nevada for archery mule deer. I wanted to bring your attention to the GoHunt.com Insider August giveaway. This month they're going to give away 10 Kuiu sleeping bags. All you have to do is be a member of the GoHunt.com Insider. All you have to do is be an Insider member to win. And the retail value of this is $4,500. This is the Kuiu Super Down 30-degree sleeping bag, which is the one I have in the size long. And in recent months, they've given away landowner tags, Dall sheep hunts, spotting scopes, Kinatrek boots, Red Rock precision rifles, and much more. Guys, in order to be an Insider member, you need to go to gohunt.com/insider, click on the blue Join Now button, and use the JScott promo code at checkout, and you will receive a $50 Kuiu gift card that they will send to you electronically. I want to thank you guys, my listeners, for tuning in to this podcast. And every day I get emails and Facebook messages and Instagram messages of how much you guys like this podcast. And without the sponsors and without you guys, the listeners, this podcast would not be possible. If you need to send me questions or comments, which I appreciate every day getting, you can send them to jscottoutdoors@gmail.com. You can follow along more of our adventures at jscottoutdoors.com. J Scott Outdoors Facebook page, at J Scott Outdoors on Instagram, and our YouTube channel at J Scott Outdoors. Guys, until the next episode, I just want to say God bless you, and the 2015 hunting season is right in front of us, and it's going to be a great one. So I look forward to seeing all you guys pictures of all your success, and hope you guys have a great, safe hunting season. Until next time, guys, God bless.